very predictable in terms of relying on his team and knowing exactly that he wouldn't end up dying. Now, HotsLady, they did go for the battleground, and they chose it. It is Cursed Hollow, not the best win ratio, but keep in mind that HotsLady didn't really have a good season overall, so going for a almost 50% record is definitely one of the stronger battlegrounds, although it might look the opposite at first glance.
Yes, so overall, this is going to be fairly even. This is a standard map. Every team's got a fairly standard win rate, except for maybe Soa, because their map ratios are just all over the place. But this is the map that they have chosen. They want to play some standard games, don't want to deal with any shenanigans, so this is where we are going. Cursed Hollow, probably going to see a Dahaka come in again if it is not banned out.
Hey, Tetcher, by the way, don't you notice anything?
Yes, the mask is gone.
Yeah, there we go. Kid is no longer using his mask, so really happy to see that his illness seems to be defeated.
Yeah, he's giving it to me.
I don't know how that's possible, but that's of course the explanation behind your flu. Is it just a flu, or is it anything?
It's very clear. He gave his computer a virus, and it infected mine. So there you go, and that infected me. So I have a virus.
Okay. Yep. That's probably the best explanation you could have probably given to me. So, is it just a flu though, or is it just?
I have no idea. I am nauseous. I am in pain, and I am uncomfortable. But I am dealing.
Well, thankfully there's no HGC Open Division Europe today. Otherwise, that would have been the overkill for you.
Yes, that is quite the relief. Actually, I will. As much as I love doing it, that might have caused me to either pass out or throw up or both.
Alright, back to the second draft though, ladies and gentlemen. The Uther banned by TheOne, despite the fact that they were first pick, and even if HotsLady had first pick Uther themselves, they could have just gone for the Lunara, the one that is, and basically just shut down it. I actually think that the Uther ban here is not very smart. I think if they had first pick Lunara, they would have basically banned, soft banned, if you will, Uther anyways, unless the one... No, actually, I think that would have been the better choice. But, of course, sometimes teams don't even want to first pick Lunara because they want to keep their options a little bit more diversified and open.
I think they should pick. They should first pick a support, and then it should probably be not that one, but that will do. But basically, because we are in double support territory, there is no such thing as a support choke these days. But limiting options is a pretty reasonable strategy to go down. First pick Tastar, second pick Rhaegar, or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. If they had picked the Rhaegar, for example, as you said, there's really a support choke, but there's still a significant difference in overall power spikes or power levels.
Removing the cleanse supports, which is actually really good. However, they first pick one HotsLady, they bring out Brightwing, and they take the Valor.
And if we think back to yesterday, Tetcher, I do want to remind you that the Brightwing played by 365 was probably one of the best ones we've seen in the entire league thus far. She played against... in an ETC with stage dive, so those emerald wins could really punish the diving attempt by the ETC quite heavily, isolating him and then focusing him down. It's not guaranteed though that TheOne is going to pick an ETC in the first place though, but it's definitely a strong statement. Like if they were watching the games yesterday, they already know like, ETC picking this guy is probably not very smart.
Do you remember the old days of the support choke? Back when like Lee was really bad as a support?
Yeah. Karazim was nowhere to be found.
Karazim wasn't out yet. That was the thing. That's how far back this was.
Yep.
And it was literally a situation of like WCA and get tournaments like that. The original Team Liquid lineup would just double first pick on supports, and then everyone would panic. And it went to one point where it was G2 and they got stuck with just Tyrande, and that's the first time we actually saw Owl build Shadowstalk Tyrande.
Yeah.
Back when that was a big AoE heal.
Yeah, you gotta imagine, guys, think back to, let's say, 2 years from now, maybe 1.5 years from now. There was no Ariel, there was no Lucio, there was a significantly lower number.
Brightwing for a while.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because Brightwing was so terrible, she couldn't even be picked.
Brightwing was the first support released, or was it Rhaegar?
No, Rhaegar. Rhaegar was definitely
Rhaegar,
way before Brightwing.
Brightwing. Then not Morales. No, Ariel, then Morales, because they were released about the same time, I believe. Yeah.
Would be nice to have actually like a history timeline.
I'm sure there is one somewhere.
Yeah.
I just don't remember it.
Of all the heroes and when they came out. But Tetcher, despite what I was trying to explain to TheOne and why they shouldn't pick ETC into that Brightwing, they still went for it. So obviously no respect for the 365 Brightwing. I think it might cost them. I really think it might cost them if they do not play a significantly better playstyle than RPG yesterday.
They'll bring out a second support, I think. That will be... Like, the ETC can just go for Mosh Pit, so hopefully it can react a little bit quicker. You don't need the stage dive here.
Which is still susceptible to the
stage dive
polymorph,
actually does synergize. True. The stage dive does actually synergize with Lunara, because it's a slow.
True.
So, possibilities here. I would like to see, obviously, HotsLady need to pick up another support, which their options are, once again, limited. Maybe we're going to see, like, our second attempt at Chinese Morales. I would like that. Nope, it's Rhaegar, because he's still around. I forgot.
Once again, it's absolutely mind-blowing that on a battleground like Cursed Hollow, no Tyrande is being picked very early on, whereas in other regions, she's seen so much more play. Like Tyrande, of course, adding so much potential interruptions with those owls later on. If you aim those very carefully near the tributes, you can really keep the enemy's teams at bay, while also poking them for huge amounts of damage as well.
Okay, so TheOne are now very limited in terms of support picks. The ones they have left remaining are Lily, Morales, Lucio, Malfurion, Stukov, and Tyrande.
And Karazim. No, he's banned. My bad.
Yep.
You know what? I don't mind that, though. Like, you can easily go for a Malfurion. You can easily go for the likes of Morales, because let's face it, what kind of hard... Yes, Stukov would be more than fine as well. Like, what kind of hard engage do they have? What kind of crowd control do they have to lock down a Morales HotsLady, that is? Currently, none.
I mean, a stim drone deer would make me feel very happy. That seems like it would be very fun. Stim drone Lunara would be devastating to watch.
Absolutely.
Let's see what they do go with, though. It is...
There we go!
Yorick and Morales! Hooray! We're going to get this the second time we will have seen the reworked Morales appear in China. Let's see if they can use it well. And here comes the pressure for it in the form of Illidan.
Okay, that one I do like a lot right now. So the Illidan is definitely a golden last pick here for the HotsLadies, because with the Hunt, Illidan can dive right into the enemy team's backline, nail down that Morales, and since he's such a sticky target once he's close to you, it's really hard for TheOne to get rid of him. However, they do have a couple of crowd control effects themselves, like the ETC. They could even consider a Force Wall to keep the Illidan at bay. Morales could even go for the Medivac just to keep herself safe and sound from the Illidan. So I think they do have a couple of tools to really strike back, don't you think?
Definitely. They definitely have a lot of tools to strike back, and it's a question for me right now of what build the Morales is going to go for. We've seen two different builds really take precedence. The one we've seen here, which is the and in European Open Division, which was the
life support,
the life support build, just all going with the energy regen and stuff like that. And then we saw the one in Korea by Sake a couple days ago, which was the full grenade build, which we've seen a couple other times as well. Both seem to be relatively effective.
In my opinion, it needs to be the grenade build here. The grenade build gives you a lot of self-protection with those shields combined with a level 4 talent. And as we saw in Korea, you mentioned Sake, it is so good to keep those hard engaging heroes like Illidan and Tyrael at bay. It's really good to knock them back continuously, especially after getting second opinion. So that would be my personal go-to.
I would be down with this as well. Let's find out if it works as we head into game number 2 between HotsLady and TheOne. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cursed Hollow. And spawning on the left-hand side, it is going to be the HotsLadies. And playing for them, 365 on the Brightwing, again on the Rhaegar, Feed B on Valor, Kid on the Illidan, and Carlo on his legendary Tyrael.
And their opponents in red are going to be TheOne, with Hugo on Leoric, Lucky on ETC again, Meng plays Lunara again, Zyron on Morales, and he is going for Tassadar. And Ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind this is the reworked Morales, and we don't see the grenade build. No!
Hopefully, you can still go for a lot of the other grenade talents. You do miss out on some cooldown reduction with clear. This is the maximum energy build going for. You start off with life support. You still take blast shield because it's amazing. So you don't have to worry about that, although Trauma Trigger might be reasonable here.
No, it needs to be the Blast Grenade. I think this one is too important to pass.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Morales, as you can see here, guys, she has a lot of single target protection, and that allows a team like TheOne to really just go for that early tower. Leoric, Hugo doing a fantastic job of actually not only just holding the lane, but also dealing heavy damage onto both of the enemy team's heroes. Now, in the meantime, we see in the bottom, no defense just yet for TheOne, and as such, Vala is going to tear things up in that bottom lane.
Yeah, and you can see that tower pressure that was put on. They did lose because they actually just rotated with too many They were pushing with too many heroes in that mid lane. But the amount of pressure they could put on the early game while still completely fine, just purely because Morales does not use mana. It's not a situation anymore of we have to push, okay, Morales is going to be and she'll rejoin in lane. Now it's, okay, we've just used all of Morales' mana, just taking all the tower shots and killed both towers. Now we just rotate and she's going to get it all back.
However, I do want to say, though, that I think the prioritization of laning pressure was better by HotsLady as well. While getting towers in the mid is fine in the middle lane, the bottom lane is going to be the boss lane for HotsLady. So if they end up getting one of those bosses, the fact that there is no towers to keep it at bay, no gate to buy additional time, is going to hurt them severely if they let some of those bosses go through. Whereas in the top lane, as you can see, the boss lane for TheOne, everything is still safe and sound.
So an interesting thing we haven't talked about too much yet, it is the Pixie Charm, Pixie Bribe, coming in for Brightwing on level 1. So going to try and get them Siege Giants going. Could in theory try and get some proxy ones.
Yeah, that's quite true. Stealing away a Siege Giant camp is definitely something that's in the realm of possibilities here, thanks to Brightwing going for that Pixie Charm. Beautiful observation there, Tetcher. But also, TheOne... actually, I think that could be a thing, right? Illidan taking care of TheOne Siege Giant camp. Maybe 365 is just going to save those stacks for the Bruiser camp, though, which makes it a lot easier to basically secure it after the first tribute phase.
Quite possibly. It looks like they were thinking about, TheOne were thinking about going for their own Siege Giant camp, but have actually changed their mind because they want to try and get the nice kill onto Feed B here, who gets the speed boost from Brightwing as well as her own. Grenade is landed, that might actually give Feed B the distance needed. Brightwing heal comes in, and that's going to be enough to protect it.
Yeah, the healing found available as well. Definitely making sure that Vala is able to stay in the fight. Very important, because if Vala had gone back to base, or if she had been forced to teleport back to base, I think they had to give up, or they would have had to give up this tribute, because without the main assassin, without the main source of DPS, there's no way you can hope to get anyone down.
You do see panicking, retreating back to base here. Lucky gets a safeguard, moves in, gets another interrupt, but it's taking so much damage, has the power slide, and that's probably the end of any fight over this tribute.
Yeah. TheOne weren't really trying to get this tribute in the first place anyway, because Leoric wasn't even trying to help his team. He was just like continuing soaking in the top lane, and in the meantime Tassadar was also getting chased down by that Illidan, so all they wanted to do was buy as much time as humanly possible in order to get the value elsewhere, and in the meantime Leoric did do a pretty good job at soaking. Something you can also see here in the minimap, the fact that the lane wasn't pushed heavily, is that Leoric didn't kill any enemy minions. He was waiting for the enemy team's minions to actually get killed. Never mind, we see another engage coming in here. Lucky going deep, trying to fight over that Merc camp.
Yeah, big invade here coming in. That does force Hugo back, and it is going to maybe cost them as Nadara goes down. Morales is in trouble. Safeguard is activated, but not enough as she gets taken out. And here getting chased down too. Lucky face melt. Here still dies, and Lucky will get out. There's still a keep here that will keep him alive. Hugo nearly dies in top lane as well to Rhaegar, and this has gone from everything's going pretty well to oh god, we're all dead. What just happened in favor of HotsLady?
The question you need to ask yourselves, guys, is what was TheOne doing there? Why were they going in this deeply into the enemy team's Bruiser camp? There was no justified reason to basically go for it. Now, however, they can maybe strike back. 7 is there, Lucky gaining in, and again on the Rhaegar's already very low in health.
Yeah, the reason is they like a bit of spice in their life, as Zyran is in a bad position. Oh, they actually both accidentally danced through him, so he nearly got out, but he does still go down. as 365 will pick up the objective, and HotsLady snowballing to an early lead, both of the early game tributes, and 5 kills in as many minutes.
They just don't have the tool to stop the Illidan right now. If Lunara and Morales get pressured this much, even Brightwing got close enough to drop a polymorph onto the enemy team's Morales. That should never happen. Morales should always stay so far behind that Brightwing, if she tried to go for those aggressive polymorph maneuvers, should get punished in return. So the fact that HotsLady gets away with those risky plays shows how much of a difference the overall team synergy makes right now in that early game on Curse Hollow. And Tetra, you know what? That's going to be a 100% curse. There's no way the one can make it to level 10 in time.
Completely agree. That's going to be a rough issue. Now, mechanics question for you. Is Emerald Wind a phase or a stun?
It doesn't... I think it counts as a mini stun because abilities get interrupted by it. So you can interrupt the mosh pit, for example. Okay, so it is going to affect Vandium plating, which is the talent for Morales on level 7. If a target is stunned when they have safeguard on them, they gain additional 25 armor and the duration is paused. That's going to be affected by the Rain of Vengeance, the Hunt, and the Emerald Wind, but not by Polymorph. Exactly. Very good point. And I think especially against the Hunt, it's going to be a very, very important defensive tool. So that is probably the main reason why Morales ended up going for the Vanadium plating instead of the anti-slow cleanse that she has available. You are not prepared. No, but Morales is. Paching. Safeguard gets dropped. That hero hopefully lives. So we do see the kid getting chased back. Does get stunned at the gate. And there is a curse on the one at the moment. They're trying to get a kill on this. Good grenade, but clutch teleport by 365. Wow. He is alive. And he's not going to chase any further in the meantime. Feed B in again, who have just been basically... Feed B has just almost never left this bot lane at this point. It's just been either Brightwing or Rhaegar coming to join him in the lane. As they continue to push in, they're going for a key. Yeah, this could be really bad. HotsLady, they're going for it. They have all the momentum aspects now on their side. The boss still looking mighty healthy. The curse is still preventing the key from even firing back. And you know what? If they end up getting another kill, well, Feed B needs to be careful. Gets cleansed, gets almost killed, but the retaliation is there. Ancestral's good. Here comes the medevac, but it gets popped. Zyran is focused down. The mosh pit does at least delay some time, but we still see Morales die. Brightwing dies in exchange. We've been told that Emerald Wind is a phase, so it doesn't matter. So a daze, sorry, as it's called. Hugo is kind of on his own at the moment. Meg has retreated back into keep range so we can drop the damage. And they're going for core. 3v2 with the boss. ETC travels through, gets a good knockback. Carlo's still alive. They're trying to take down again first. Remove the healing. Zyran comes back. The core is dropping low. There goes Carlo. It's down to Illidan, who is the last remaining member here. Illidan goes down and he survives with a 12% core. Just in time, Tass, as he shields the core when no one else is damaging it. Wow, that was a very bold move, but guess what? I think HotsLady is fine with this. Dropping the enemy core down to 12% without the enemy team giving the chance to get any... They still have a level lead. Yeah. They still have a level lead, and now they have a permanent winning condition. Now, whenever there's a tribute spawning in the top half of the map, the one they need to carefully double check if their opponents are not going for a backdoor attempt. So HotsLady, I think that's totally worth it. Or as some people will call it, Worf. Because they basically created themselves a permanent winning condition. So good. Like, honestly, I don't see any reason why the HotsLady can't just wait for Sank to come back up and then just walk in as 5. Like, the only thing that's really stopping them is the fact that medevac's a thing, meaning that the one actually have a slightly quicker rotation than actually being, in order to get back to base if they do spot HotsLady. Yeah. But other than that, there's very little that just would stop them just going in. The way they could play this, Turiel goes in for a cheeky backdoor. Illidan is going to use the Hunt on any minion nearby, and Brightwing is going to teleport on top of him. With that Sanctification, there's nothing the one can actually do. 3-man backdoor attempt with only one person having to walk. While Valor's just showing elsewhere on the map, and just like, hey guys, we're totally not in your base right now. You don't look at your base. Ignore the man behind the curtain. As we do see here, taking down the mercenaries. He could use some help. There we go, he ditches it due to a tribute. Here we go, Carlo posturing up aggressively here, but also getting sapped a little bit by Hugo on the Lyric, and there's no reason for the one to fight over this tribute. What they need to make sure of right now is the fact that they won't abandon the bottom lane under any circumstances. They need to carefully track down the Illidan, the Tyrael, and the Brightwing at all times. Lucky's trying to go for a flank.
They found Illidan. He's trying to retreat right now while being drained. Here's the stun. Cleanse is good. There's double cleanse. Ancestral healing. Beautiful engage. Morales, get out of there. But with the sack, she gets popped a second time.
She's safe for now.
So badly focused. The safeguard's good, though. The rest of the team has arrived. Carlo and Illidan, though, still focusing down. Zyran gets another shield. It's so close. Zyran finally goes down. Leoric gets wiped as well before after he's
Mosh pit!
Mosh pit's good.
No!
Can Lundara make it? No, it gets interrupted. And Lundara is basically on her own for this defense right now. Again, is dropping low. But even if Meg was to kill again here, Kid and Carlo are still on full health. And they move in for the core. 1v5, not even a chance. As this is going to be GG. And HotsLady take game number 2 and give us a 1-1.
They give us a 1-1. Bless RNG. No. HotsLady, they continue to be the kings of 1-1, and after getting absolutely dismantled in game number 1, they came back in spectacular fashion. But Tetcher, that mosh pit could have maybe turned things around if only the members of HotsLady weren't a millimeter outside of the death zone. It was so close, but valiant effort overall by TheOne. I think they played this game a little bit sloppily, though. Also, the fact that they prioritized a lot of heroes that couldn't really deal with the Illidan was a little bit rough, but hey, Illidan was last pick, right? So there's only so many precaution measures they could have made. It was just a nice, spot-on decision by HotsLady to go for that last pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, completely agree. Good last-minute decision as well to just go for the core in that last scenario.
Yeah.
Overall, much better than the first game by HotsLady. That one was very shaky. This one was much better, and as such, the score ends up as a 1-1, which unfortunately does not help HotsLady that much, as they're still in last. They move up to 6 points, meaning that if RPG lose today, they'll be tied with them again, which is possible. They're against BTG. Whereas TheOne, they move up to 11 points, overtake Soa, but Soa also have a game in hand.
However, Soa have to basically overcome or climb the highest mountain in the league. They have to play SPT, so the chances of Soa actually dropping the ball today and allowing TheOne to pass by are very high. So, well done by TheOne. They could have played it a little bit better, though, but we're not going to be too critical of either of the teams because they gave us a good show.